Story in a video game might be expected but not all that important, says game developing legend John Carmack. And however he might have defined story or game, there is a seed of truth to be found. While everything is better with a story, gameplay comes first. It is no achievement to slap a story on a video game, but to tell a story in gameplay by gameplay. There is this talk about video games having now become a sufficient form of storytelling, as they weren't before for some reason, and possibly the most common example of this is The Last of Us. A good example of handling the gameplay and storytelling apart from each other to the degree of contradiction. A bad example of storytelling in a form of a video game. The story itself might be the best there ever was, but since every story has already been told and retold through the millennia, the art of storytelling has never been about the story you tell, but the way you tell a story. When we want to hear a story, we calm down to listen. If we want to play a game, we activate ourselves for action. And it doesn't mean there isn't stories taking place. We just don't usually sit down in the middle of an adrenaline rush to hear out the context of the next round.
Hey there.
Instead, the story is acted out within the play. One core element of designing the proper way of telling a story is medium justification. Does the way the story is told justify the selection of the medium that it's delivered by? Or, as a more simple rule of thumb, tell the story in a way that is possible only in a video game. Narration.
I used to be a taxi driver.
Text scrolls or superimposed captions in film are usually frowned upon among the professionals because it's lazy, boring and uncreative to write prose in your drama, avoiding the real challenge of communicating abstract ideas with concrete pictures, which is the core feature and forte of cinema. If you are making a movie, start with a picture. If you are making a game, start with interaction, and maybe something a little bit more than just press start to begin. If your game depends on the inner monologue of the protagonist, maybe you should have written a book, or at least built the narration into an interactive element of the game, gathering only words or phrases to be combined into a variety of narratives, some of which lead into positive experiences, while others may cause something negative, greatly influencing the different playthroughs leading to replayability. Written text is okay if you tell a story about a writer, but why would you then structure the game into episodes of a television series rather than chapters of a novel? Easily the most common anomalies are these beautiful big-budget adventures trying to imitate movies, constantly interrupting the flow of the game with a story they didn't find any other way to tell. Seeing hours and hours of cutscenes doesn't even make me angry. It really just makes me sad to think about all this beautiful artistry going to waste because of misplacement. Just think about all that time and money that didn't go into designing, developing and polishing the gameplay itself. We watch movies to be surprised by the decisions of the filmmakers. We play video games to be in control of those decisions. In an interactive medium, the storytelling should also be interactive. The major plot points happening in your control, not by a cutscene in between. And possibly even every extra side story being optional. Engage or not, in what way? Up to you. We don't play games to watch interactive serialized drama, and nothing against watching interactive serialized drama, but please don't call it gaming, it devalues either side. You might be in control of all the major story decisions, but if more than 50% of the content is still delivered by other means than gameplay, you are not playing a game. The only exception are the small-scale independent productions with emphasis on reacting to a plot taking place in real time inside an uninterrupted gameplay. Even though they tend to be too minimalistic by design to offer enough unique mechanics to satiate the hunger for gaming per se. Then there are oddities like The Last Campfire that narrates in voice and in text every obvious thing happening on the screen.
There was a round space where something used to fit.
This would be an awesome optional feature for people who have difficulties to hear or see, but as default they render each other and the whole clear visual design pointless. In Dark Souls, you can explore the whole game world and defeat all the enemies without ever even asking why. But the more you interact with the world and pay attention to your surroundings, the more you start to understand everything about it. In Metroid Prime, you already understand all that is necessary only by context, the environments you encounter, situations you face, and actions you take. But if you really want to dig deep into the truth, you need to explore and examine, study the strange fauna, flora, and alien technology. Breath of the Wild was designed from the get-go with this freedom in mind, having a very simple story of hero waking up to defeat the bad guy. That's all you need. But there's also tons of optional side stories and backstories to be explored. And what's best, the real plot of any given playthrough is about you as the hero preparing for the final task, growing to be worthy of the title, and the plot is always different, depending on how much you need or want to do and in what order, before the decision to end the story. In video games you can even have the storylines change depending on your actions. One lazy way is to make it into a text game, writing countless dialogue options to be selected, rather than making the choices by real-time actions in gameplay. Do we listen to their stories or not? In what place and at which point we decide to do so? Do we pay for our goods or do we try to steal them? Or do we just want to kill them all? If your dialogue isn't important or even interesting, don't halt the whole game because of it.
Oh man.
You can have them both.
Keep up.
I am.
Too often, even the most minute conversations lock you in when there doesn't need to be any restrictions, rather than keeping you free to act out every mechanic as usual and making you suffer the consequences of your impatience.
Hey, come back this instant!
Or indiscretion. The most discreet and exquisite you could do writing a video game is to only contextualize all of its mechanics and nothing more. Why does your character come back after death? Is it a curse of undying, gift of immortality, detached consciousness, totally different body, or even another character? Should there even be a dying mechanic at all? What is the goal and its importance? What are the rules and their meaning? The best story a game has to tell is your own unique experience with it. The story of how you stumbled upon its every corner and how you reacted to them. How your own bad decisions got you in trouble and how your own knowledge and resourcefulness got you out of that hopeless situation. That's the story you cannot wait to tell all about to your friends. That's the story to be remembered for a lifetime, and that's the story you cannot tell in any other medium. It's the game that should dictate the story, not the other way around. Are you making art or propaganda? The first is all about the process, leading to an unexpected outcome. The latter is all about a predetermined agenda with the expense of any other awesome idea the process might bring forth. Don't sabotage the natural progress of the development by constantly correcting the course to fit your story. Let the story emerge from the mechanics. Writers for the big screen crave to achieve a clear intent and coherent telling in order to show only glimpses of it all, for the audience to make their own interpretations. to insert their own special meanings into the mix to give the experience some personal value. When you are writing a video game, you are working with higher levels of abstraction than novelists or screenwriters ever could. So why restrain yourself with conventions of other media?
I'm coming.
A movie is to watch, a novel is to read, a song is to listen, and a game is to play.